this case study, as I mentioned, is basically for one of the clients that we worked with in the past few years, working on creating a huge digital platform to help serve their customers have a view of what's really happening on the ground with respect to the maintenance. So we will take that as the first example, and you will understand how you can kind of capture the vision. So this is the Total View project. This is the code name for the project that we've actually created. So I don't want to give a lot of confidential information. It's just the process and the workflow and the steps and activities and the deliverables that we produced in the process of discovery and exploration of the stakeholders' expectations, their objectives, the challenges, constraints, and everything else. So let's have a look at, so this presentation I created, if you might notice it is slightly different from the one, because this was actually the presentation that I've shared with the key stakeholders back then, after the discussions I had initially with the stakeholders, with the operations, with technology, with business, with the customer service, with account management, directors, all these people, contract directors, all these people have had a chat with, an interview with each of them, try to understand what is it that they want to achieve with this platform, and trying to understand what are the problems, what are the challenges that they face now, and what could be the solution going forward, and why we need a new solution. So, and that's the whole premise of this presentation. So I'm just using the same slide deck for you to get an idea. So after having these discussions, I understood that I put everything into perspective, and I came up with this presentation of a concept as what I call 8 P's of this. So this whole sort of work that this client does, as I said, going into Tesco, Sainsbury's, and the Walmarts of the world, and also the train stations and all the companies, the private and government companies, making sure they're all properly maintained and clean, the environment, the premises, and everything else. That's the whole objective of this company. So they send out the teams, field teams, to actually do the job, where it could be to cut the trees, shrubs, and clean up the whole stuff, and then the environment is clear, and it is all in a proper way. It's all in the expected way, spick and span for the customers to come in. So if you go to any shopping malls, for instance, it's all well maintained, right? So it's because there's a continuous operation of teams out there in the evening, on the weekends, on the weekdays, sometimes when the customers are not visiting. So they're actually they're working in the background to make sure that it is all spick and span. It's all clean and neat. So what we do here today, if this company is actually into that, so they don't do that job themselves, but they have been employing teams all over the UK, all over the country, and they work with these field teams, and they deploy them into those respective sites, as what they call, and then they actually get the work done by these people, the cleaning, the maintenance work by them. And so the whole idea of why the whole digital platform is required is for the clients to understand what work has been done on the site. So for example, if it's a shopping mall, if the team that goes into the shopping mall makes sure everything is clean, the trees and surroundings have been done well. If it is summer, it should be an extended growth of trees and plants. They cut them. If it is winter, snow might come, so clearing of the snow. All of these jobs, and then making sure all the premises are well maintained, inside, outside. All of these jobs, they're called jobs. So they need to understand what sites had been visited by what teams, what work has been done. That's what I was talking about yesterday as to the before and after photos. So they take mobile phones, and then they take the before the work has been done and after the work has been done. So that's the project, that's the kind of work that the client is into. And the project I was working on was called Total View, as to give a complete view of what is the work done, what was the kind of value that the team has brought forward, what was the site, how much time, what time did they go in, what time did they go out of the site. So check-in, check-out times, everything, all the evidences, the photos of the work done, everything, and the sign-off by the team, all of that captured and recorded so that they can see clearly, right? Because they've got huge number of sites across the country. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got thousands of stores, thousands of train stations, thousands of shopping malls, and all these areas that have been required by the team to go and do the work. So Well, this platform is supposed to provide that kind of transparency, the trust, increase the trust between the customer and the organization that that this is working with. So basically what I did was I came up with this 8P model. So I said we should have property. It's about property, that is the site and everything. Plant, which is basically about the equipment. Process, what is the kind of workflow followed. Proof, which is basically about the evidence of the photos, the before and after. What's the plan? What's the kind of job plan that was given and shared with us? What is the product? The kind of products, for example, some people might actually use some of the disinfectants and products and making sure it's all done properly. So the price, what is the price involved? What's the price agreed to by the customer? What was quoted as a quotation or a tender to the customer, and what was finally the price? And the persons involved, the field team. So basically this 8P model that I came up with, very well acknowledged by, and this pretty much sums up what this platform is going to give and offer to the customer. So talking about each of these, as you know, I mentioned the sites could be properties, basically the sites, the address, the maps, contact details of the people, the site access details, if there are any problems with access to the field, the plants, trees, shrubs, if there are anywhere around, all of those that need to be maintained. So basically that's the property. And then plant is equipment, and then process is a job approach, performance measures, blah, blah, blah. And proof is evidence I was talking about, right? The photos of before and after, site attendance, somebody to say, yes, the team has come and actually they signed that the people have actually done the work. Planning is in terms of who is going to do what, field team assignment, when would they come, what time would they come, in the schedule and stuff. And then the service is basic, product is a service essentially. What's the scope of work, what's the requirement? They did any kind of extra pieces of work that is beyond what was agreed upon. So all of those would be part of the service. And then the contract is basically you're agreeing to a pricing detail, the requirements, risk assessment. And then the person's bit could be internal, who are the contract manager, the field team, then the external, who are basically the field teams, the property management, and people who own the facility, as what we call the facility management team or facility manager, supervisors basically. So if you look at it, this model pretty much sums up everything that this company operates in, and this 8P model was well appreciated. Again, this is a vision that I actually put forward because it's not something which the company has ever thought about, because this is the perspective that we as business analysts could bring in, the fresh perspective, fresh third-party view about what we can do. So I came up with this vision of this 8P model: property, plan, process, proof, plan and prepare, product, price, and person. Simply put, this actually captures everything that the digital platform, the proposed digital platform at that point of time would do and would help achieve. So we talked about unified platform having the this marrying between the sales strategy and the recruitment process, and the plans provide visibility to the sites and customers. So all of these, we talked about some of these pain points and the challenges yesterday, right? So that they didn't have a proper customer retention plan. They didn't have the ability to track which customers are coming what, and then they didn't have a good field team management system, all of these. So we're trying to propose this platform to be able to deliver all these things. So again, this is a vision. Vision could be as simple as these things. You don't have a clarity at that point of time, about 3 years ago, as to how you're going to achieve this, but still you want to have some kind of a vague idea what you want to do, where you want to get to, and that is what is vision. It can be put in different formats, different ways. Yeah, so to role-based access permission, web and mobile enabled. We talked about web browser. This proposed digital platform, the total view, should be able to work both on mobile, because the field teams will be using the mobile applications to log in, to actually sign in when they go onto the site, enable the GPS, sign in, do the check-in onto the app and say that they have arrived on the shopping mall at this point on Thursday, 2:30 p.m., signed in. So they check in, and then they actually take the photos before the work is done, and then using the app, and then they take the photos after the work is done. They get the signature, electronic signature of the site supervisor then and there, and then their stamp, basically their details. Everything would synced up onto the server, and that gets into the database. Again, that's what is the vision that we laid out for the platform. So if you see what are we trying to achieve here? So we are trying to achieve, from the business point of view, there are several dimensions here. So from the business point of view, it's about growth via customer focus, to bring in a customer centricity. I think we talked about it last few weeks as well. And that's what Sarika was talking about, Priya, and all of these other guest speakers who talked about last month as well. They were saying that we should have a customer focus, customer centricity in our approach in our product and service business. So, and also the aspect of cross-selling of opportunities. We should have cross-selling opportunities. People have done this, also did that. The customers who bought this also bought these, also looked at these items, right? So essentially what you're trying to do is Amazon or eBay is trying to actually upsell and cross-sell to you that, by the way, why are you stopping here? You can just consider the other opportunities, other products that you have. So by doing that, they're compelling you to look at those products, and potentially you have got that impulse purchase to buy that as well, to add that product, those 2, 3, 5, 10 products also into the shopping cart. So you want to buy, for example, we were talking about that story yesterday of the salesperson selling all the equipment of fishing and everything for a customer who goes in to buy beers, right? So that's cross-selling. So it's all about how you can use all this data, this whole set of data that you collected and stored. How can you do analytics on the data and actually kind of use the data to come up with insights that would help to generate more business? That's the whole idea. And then the other thing we talked about is the retention, very important again for the cross-selling. Demonstrate transparency and trust. That's the most important thing for this platform, because it's actually giving a total view of what is happening on the ground. So you can't fake to the customer that the team went yesterday and they did this work, because everything is there on the proof. And the customer has got the trust factor increase, because they can just access onto the web, this particular app, open the app, and they can get to see pretty much everything that happened within their premises in Scotland, in Northern Ireland, in Wales, in England, sitting just on their desk, and then actually get to see everything that happened on their sites, on their hundreds of sites in all these different places. So by doing that, you're actually trying to increase the trust, and they can't just say, okay, work is done. It's not at a high level, right? They can actually drill down to the details of which team went where. So this particular team went to Glasgow or Tesco Extra, big site, and then they actually did all these jobs. What are the jobs they did? What is the kind of proof? So they can actually click the photos of before and after to see what was the work that was really done, get to see the signature, the electronic signature of the person. So you're talking about the trust factor. So that's important again. So if you see, this is how I actually packed the vision of this kind of a platform, right? So we're talking about business on one side. We're talking about helping the people, external, internal customers, minimize margins for errors, because you're trying to automate. As you automate more and more, there's less a chance for human intervention, human error. And so you can aid better and quicker decision making, because everything is on one place. It's a unified platform. And then it's customizable in the sense that you can actually kind of look at what you want. So the supervisor can look at what are the things that they're interested in, whereas a person on the field team could look at the same application, but different details as to what they're interested in. So supposing the boss is interested only looking at the higher picture, the big picture view of things, whereas the people who are actually doing the work are interested in the details, right? So that's how we need to provide that ability to present a dashboard, as well as the option to actually select something and then drill down into the details of that if you require. So again, from the operations point of view, we are enabling the delivery of quality, because everything is now online. Better technology means better quality photos, better quality of information, data is of better quality. And then you've got a greater, all in one place, a repository of data, so you can actually kind of service better. And then it's data analytics, as we discussed that, right? So we can actually kind of mine the data and understand what are relationships. How can we sell to this customer more? How can we actually add more sites? How can we make sure that they're happy and they give business to us more and more in the next few years to come? So, and then compliance is another thing, right? Compliance is in terms of regulation. How good are you with regulation? Sometimes this is the important thing. Audit and quality, they come in, they externally, they have a look at your product and see whether you're following the norms or not. So again, this platform is going to help do that. And from the technology point of view, this platform again is going to be, as we discussed, web and mobile enabled, unified and seamless database, central repository, easy and quick to use in just one, in one application for both mobile and web. Modular architecture. For doing these, we are using modular architecture, so you can build in modules and not everything in one go, not a monolith architecture. Scalable platform. It's not actually about, today we've got like, I think the client was at that point of time, they were having about 1 million sites, and they were actually increasing the sites by about at least 30,000 every month. They're adding more sites to that. So the business was growing. So they want actually a platform that would help support that growth, business growth. So here, if you look at it, this is the vision. This is what is this platform about. How did I put this one is basically something like in my own way. Obviously, you don't need to worry about all these fantastic looking infographic. You don't need to, really put all these. If you are interested, you can do that. But if you're trying to present it to anybody in the world, they can actually get to see what this platform is about. Of course, this is a 30,000 feet view of this. It's not about details. What technology, what platform, how are you going to do this? Is it going to be 5 pages, 6 pages? Is it going to be driven by Oracle or SQL database? We don't bother about it at this point of time because it's fairly early stage. At this point of time, we are talking about, let's say, the business case has barely been created at this point of time, right? So that's the way you can define the vision, and I'll talk to you about the roadmap in the next few slides. So you will get an idea now, right? So vision is that. You can't just have a vision that says, I want to be the leading company. You need to actually have something as to how that vision is going to be translated into action. Now you're talking about the strategy, the tactical stuff, and then finally the operations, right? So that's I just want to bring forth to you the example so you can better relate to what we're talking about and how we can create a vision for this. So, and then in terms of the the total view, value add, and the roadmap. Sorry, I'm using jargon. So it's called total view. The benefits for this, people ask you, why do you want to actually invest so much? I mean, at this point of time, we're talking about at least a £500,000 budget for this, for building this platform. And then you would have questions asked as to why do you need to invest so much? What is it that I'm getting? What is the company getting out of this investment? So you talk about the high level things: communication, better communication, cross-selling, better processes, evidence has been captured better way and shown better way. Health and safety, you're talking about the field teams, actually the certifications. How, for example, some people they're not supposed to work on the cranes or operating the diggers because they didn't have the certification. You need to pass some tests, you need to go through some training to be able to use these heavy equipment. And so also climbing up some heights, you need some certification. So all of these, again, the field teams will be able to use the platform to be able to upload their certifications and stuff. So you're only assigning the right skilled people to be able to do the particular job within the worksheet. So it's all about the health and safety. It's customizable. It's easy and quick because it's all in one place, simple apps. The training and skills are also being actually kind of upgraded. Everything is driven through the platform. High quality of data and customer retention, very important because that's what. So at a high level, you actually get to see the value add, the propositions, and then you're digging deeper into the business, the customer, product, process, blah, blah, blah. So you're actually trying to make your business case stronger and stronger, and making sure that you've got the robust reasons for somebody to actually invest in your vision, to buy into your, it's called buy-in, right? So you can get the buy-in from the stakeholders, from the funders, from the senior management, from the banks, from the investment banks, whatever is investing into your idea. So if you do these, obviously they would be more than happy to consider you because they know that you've done your homework.